It is a gorgeous Saturday night in the heart of Silicon Valley on the campus of Santa Clara University. Showdown for first in the West Coast Conference between 24-2, number 12 Gonzaga, and the Santa Clara Broncos, who've won 9 straight. The winner will take sole possession of first in the WCC. And you look at the standings, and don't forget about Randy Bennett's St. Mary's Gales, right on the heels of both the Broncos and the Zags. Along with Corey Williams and our ESPN crew, Roxy Bernstein with you. Glad you're with us for this one. This is a game you don't want to miss. What an atmosphere, what a scene, and a battle for first in the West Coast Conference.
Well, it's all on the line. These guys hooked up a few weeks ago, and the Zags pulled out the 12-point win. But in this building, Santa Clara, virtually unstoppable. They're going to want a little payback tonight.
You mentioned the last meeting between these two teams. You and I did that game up at the Kennel, and we talked with Graham Ike earlier in that day. And he told us, I'm not losing tonight.
He is a multifaceted big man, lived up to every word of that promise. He does everything for the Zags. Shots, buckets, rebounds, defensive effort, getting other guys connected. He's a leader on the court and puts the team on his back.
Santa Clara, speaking of team, Corey, does it a different way than Gonzaga does.
They really do. They're a team that occupies themselves with where the ball needs to be. They spread it around, get it to the right spots, and they can really pick you apart.
Broncos have won 9 straight. It's their longest winning streak since 1994-95, when they had a point guard by the name of Steve Nash. They are 22-5, the best record for Santa Clara since 1969-1970. What Herb Sendek and the Broncos have done this year is phenomenal, but they still have a lot more to do, and a big battle with the Zags here tonight, and the opening tip controlled by Santa Clara. There's Elijah Mahi, the senior from Toronto, launching a three, trying to set the tone. The offensive rebound, missing a putback, Buki Abuke. And here comes Gonzaga back the other way and darting the basket. A wild shot, Braden Smith the miss. Jake Insminger pushes back the other way. Gliding to the bucket and the lay-in for Buki Abuke.
Boy, 3 great looks for the Broncos early, the wide open 3. Put back and then the transition bucket. You can see the energy right off the bat.
The 7'1" sophomore Buki Abuke from Sugar Land, Texas. Stay at this end with the Zags. Gonzaga 12-1 in the WCC. Their only loss was a shocker last week to Portland. The only loss for Santa Clara in WCC play was at the Kennel to Gonzaga. Here's the pull-up jumper and the miss from Braden Smith. And the rebound knocked out of bounds in the corner. It's a Gonzaga ball.
One of the key points for the game tonight for Santa Clara is going to be controlling that defensive rebound. They've already gotten the Zags to miss a couple.
Mark Few, who earlier this week was selected as a finalist for the Basketball Hall of Fame, and a career .830 winning percentage for Mark Few as Adam Miller drives to the bucket.
Adam Miller, known throughout his career as a spot-up shooter, but lately with the Zags, been on the roll, getting to the rim.
Shot clock down to 10. Jake Insminger. Brett Napper from deep. Way off on the three. And it's kept alive though by Santa Clara. Christian Hammond grabs it. Spinning in the lane. And Elijah Mahi the miss. But the hustle on the offensive glass. Buki Abuke. Welcome to a sold-out Levy Center in the campus of Santa Clara. And an early lead 4-2 for the Broncos in a battle for first in the West Coast Conference, along with Corey Williams and our ESPN crew. Roxy Bernstein with you. Buki Aboye is all for the sophomore big man for Santa Clara. Elijah Mahi tries to turn the corner, and one for Mahi. Adam Miller called for his first foul and hurt Sendek and the Broncos off to a 6-2 lead. Santa Clara's 22-5. It is their best start since 1969-1970. And Santa Clara also has won 9 straight games, the longest winning streak for a Broncos team since 1994-95. If they win tonight, it'll give them 10 straight wins for the first time since 1968-69. And they're out to a 7-2 lead on Graham Ike and Gonzaga. Cutting to the bucket, and Jalen Worley with the slam.
Gonzaga used to seeing the double team on Ike, not afraid to move the ball around, but it's the Broncos early on in attack mode, the transition, offensive rebounds, playing really well.
Zags 24-2, and their only conference loss was at Portland last week. In the lane, the floater, the pull-up by Christian Hammond.
Right now, Santa Clara doing a great job in the one-on-one, beating the defender, making the right plays.
Here's Graham Ike at the perimeter. Ike moves in. And the rebound grabbed by Elijah Mahi for the Broncos. Overflow crowd. It has been a scene. It's been electric since the doors opened about an hour and a half ago here at Levy Center. Shot clock down to 5. Christian Hammond forced to take a tough shot, wave it off, didn't get it off in time. Shot clock violation committed by Santa Clara.
That's a tough call because he ended up making that shot, but credit the Zags defense finally staying in front, containing. You get a look right there, ball still in his hand. The light pops on, no bucket.
Darren George, our lead referee, working with Chris Merlot and Matt Rafferty here tonight. And Chris Merlot right on top of that call. Almost 4 minutes in, and a 5-point Santa Clara lead as Mario Saint-Superi, the freshman from Spain, checks in for Gonzaga. And also in the ball game for Santa Clara is Saj Gavalugov, the redshirt freshman from Bulgaria. Last touch by Gonzaga, turnover. Great start for the Broncos with first place on the line in the West Coast Conference. Terrific start for the Santa Clara Broncos as they lead the Gonzaga Bulldogs. It's number 12 trailing 9-4 to Santa Clara. Along with Corey Williams and our ESPN crew, Roxy Bernstein with you. And an interesting matchup for first place in the WCC. The Zags are 24-2, and a big key for them all season has been the play of Graham Ike, Corey, especially in the absence of Braden Huff missing his 8th straight game.
No question about it. He's the go-to guy, and he's stepped up in ways that they need. He's probably one of the guys that leads an assist. The way he receives the double team, gives it up, but he also gets on the glass. He also is a rim protector. He stays on the court, stays active, makes sure the Zags haven't missed a step.
Last time these two teams played, Graham Ike dominated. 34 points, 11 rebounds, and he remembered because they had lost to Santa Clara at home the year before. We talked to him earlier that day. You and I called that game at the Kennel back in January. And he told us, I am not losing tonight, and he backed it up. And in the absence of Huff, he wants more on his plate. He is willing to shoulder the load for Gonzaga.
And that's what you want. A lot of times when a guy goes down, the pressure builds and some players running high. But Graham Ike's not built like that. Give me the ball, work through me. He makes great basketball decisions on the court for Gonzaga.
They're the standings in the WCC. Right now, the Broncos have a half-game edge. They've played one more game than Gonzaga has. But don't forget about St. Mary's. The Gales are right there. And there's been all this talk about this matchup tonight in the West Coast Conference between Santa Clara and Gonzaga. Both of these teams still have to go to St. Mary's. So the Gales are definitely still in the mix as far as the #1 seed in Vegas goes for the WCC tournament as Graham Ike rips down the rebound.
Roxy, I can't tell you who, but I feel like the Gales will get one of those. You talk about a great atmosphere. Moraga will be rocking with both of these clubs come to town.
Turnover by Gonzaga. And a slow start for the Zags, who are just 2 for 6 from the floor. And with 2 turnovers, and Mark Few's team in an early hole here. And bringing in Davis Vogel off the bench, the freshman, who's played very well recently, has picked up some of the play in the absence of Braden Huff. And also checking in is Tyon Grant Foster, the athletic wing for Gonzaga. Sash Gavalugov, tough pull-up jumper, falls way short. And here come the Zags. Mario Saint Superior down the lane. And a foul, and Tyon Grant Foster will go to the line for Gonzaga.
Grant Foster, one of the most explosive players in the conference. They love to get him the ball in open court opportunities, but right here, the little shovel pass. Rox, he's going to dunk this. That's the kind of high flyer he is.
61% for the well-traveled Grant Foster as Alan Graves, the redshirt freshman for Santa Clara, called for the foul. And it rolls in for Tyon Grant Foster, who missed 2 seasons because of a heart issue. That was a first-team all-WAC performer at Grand Canyon and transferring to Gonzaga for his final season. And needed a court injunction prior to the season beginning to be able to play at Gonzaga this season. And a whistle and a foul is called against Gonzaga.
Grant Foster knew when this ball left his hand, he knew he had missed it. A little over anxious trying to get that rebound. It comes over the back and seeing the body spill in the paint.
Extended pressure for Mark Few's team. There's Jake Ensminger in the backcourt. And they didn't get it across. That's a 10-second violation. Little deliberate getting it across the midcourt line, and Santa Clara gives it right back to Gonzaga.
And it wasn't an aggressive press. It wasn't designed to create the turnover, but the Broncos just a little too hesitant in moving the ball down the court.
Bulldogs 24-2 win tonight. Will give them 25 or more wins for the 19th consecutive season. Mario Saint Superior missing from deep. Offensive rebound, Jalen Worley for the Zags. Worley down the lane. Worley has it rattle out. Christian Hammond counters for the Broncos. Hits the trailer right down the lane, and a foul will get Alan Graves to the line.
Great recognition right there by Hammond. He's backing it out to set the offense and then realizes he's got his big trailing unguarded.
Foul on Jalen Worley of Gonzaga, his first. And Alan Graves, the redshirt freshman from Louisiana, sat out last year, but you look at him this year, averaging over 11 points, 7 rebounds a game. It is really blossoming for the Broncos, and the NBA scouts have clearly taken notice of Alan Graves.
Great coordination, a fluid big man that moves well. I think NBA scouts look at him and see a small forward type in the NBA. Can shoot the ball well from the perimeter as well.
4-time West Coast Conference Freshman of the Week. And Alan Graves, the former Louisiana Gatorade Player of the Year, hits both. And it's a 6-point Santa Clara lead. Right down the lane, Graham Ike's first points of the night.
Vogel beating the pressure, making the great play, but it's Santa Clara pushing it at the other end. They come up empty.
Christian Hammond falling down, couldn't get it to go. The lob, and it's too high, believe it or not, for Tyon Grant Foster, who could fly.
Yeah, you got to throw that lob. He was pointing forward, he asked for it. Ike put it up there for him.
The lob for Ike inside. And Graham Ike can't bank it in, and rattles out. And Alan Graves grabs it for Santa Clara.
You're not going to see that much. Graham Ike missing from point-blank range. Had the mismatch. Couldn't get it to drop.
Graves off of the 3. Davis Fogel pulls it down for Gonzaga. And the freshman has played tremendously recently. He had 17 in their win Tuesday night against Washington State, and a timeout taken prior to the travel. That's a heads-up play. Graham Ike recognized it and called the timeout. A 30 for the Zags. 4-point lead for Santa Clara. We'll take the 30 as well. (11-7) Santa Clara leads number 12 Gonzaga. This has been a series dominated by the Zags, even though Santa Clara has split the season series with the Bulldogs each of the last 2 years. But Gonzaga has won 52 of the last 56 matchups between these two teams, including winning at the Kennel earlier this season, 89-77. As the Zags go inside, and it's Graham Ike again.
So tough in the one-on-one. Once he realized there was no double team coming, he went straight to work. And Roxy, I'm so impressed with his footwork.
Christian Hammond answers for the Broncos. That game, January 8th, Gonzaga shot 58% from the floor against Santa Clara as a tie-up, and the arrow stays at this end with the Bulldogs. They had 50 points in the paint, and that's the thing about Gonzaga, what they do, Corey. Yes, in the past, they might have shot a lot of threes. They get up and down, but they attack you inside. They lead the country in points in the paint this season.
It's just like Novocaine. Give it time, it always works. The Zags looking to post and score out of the post. Graham Ike right there with the cross pass.
From the weak side, flying in is Tyon Grant Foster. And ripped down by Cherry Darlin for the Broncos.
We talked to Monty, he said they absolutely can't lose in the paint. And they take it to the cup for and one.
The freshman, KJ Cochran for the Santa Clara Broncos.
It starts with the tough defensive rebound at the other end. And then coast to coast, nobody picks picks up the ball, I know what to do with this. Straight to the rim, the hoop and the harm. You can hear and feel the electricity in the early moments here.
First on Graham Ike. And KJ Cochran, 68% foul shooter. And the rebound there is Tyon Grant Foster elevating for Gonzaga. Vogel, the shot clock winding down. Knocked away from Ike. KJ Cochran the throwdown. Down the lane, and a couple of free throws coming up for Tyon Grant Foster. Tremendous first. 8:29 for Santa Clara. They've scored 6 straight. Throwing an 8-point lead over Gonzaga. And the defense turning into offense.
Yep. This is all about scouting right here. You're going to see KJ Cochran be prepared. He knows the ball screen's coming, but watch the defensive rotation by Santa Clara. They take away everything the Zags want. On this ball screen, they switch. He immediately goes into denial. No one's open. And now you see Graves jump the passing route. They force the turnover. Roxy, that's just top-level preparation, understanding what your opponent is trying to do and then disrupting it.
And right now, Santa Clara, Corey, they're giving Gonzaga a taste of their own medicine. As the Broncos, 14 of their 17 points have come in the paint.
That's been the difference. It's been the Broncos living in the paint. They've limited the offensive rebounds. They've been physical. They've attacked the rim. They've got and ones. This is the type of game they want where they're bringing the fight to Gonzaga.
And they've lit it up in conference play. In league games, Santa Clara is averaging almost 88 points per game against a team that's one of the most efficient teams tonight in college basketball in Gonzaga. One more for Tyon Grant Foster.
If you're Gonzaga, you want to do a better job defensively on the ball. Your man-to-man, one-on-one defense has to tighten up. Too many Broncos blowing by, getting in the lane early for Mark Pugh and his staff.
Grant Foster hits both. Here's that nuisance press again that Santa Clara doesn't have issues with this time. Christian Hammond on a step back three, and the tip, it drops for Santa Clara.
Well, that is a home court bounce.
stretching the Broncos' largest lead. Davis Vogel tries to turn the corner. In the lane, and it's batted around inside. Ripped away by Manuel Inochinti for the Zags. Grant Foster to the basket, and one tie on Grant Foster.
Talked about him being an explosive player. When he gathers himself off 2 feet, there's really not a whole lot you can do right here. Once he gets the defender on his side, it's game, set, match. Foster off the glass, too big, too strong.
Grant Foster already 3 for 4 at the line. That one falls off, but it's tipped up and in by Emmanuel Inochinti.
A couple of lucky tips both ways. Santa Clara with the tip in.
That 3 is way off, in the rebound grabbed by Gonzaga and Mario Saint-Superi. Grant Foster attacks. Inochinti from the corner. Too strong on the 3, weak side rebound. KJ Cochran on the push for the Broncos. Brent Napper.
Such a big difference between that 3 and the previous 3. That's a rhythm shot from a guy who's probably going to shoot a better percentage. But right there, the Broncos taking their time. We talked about ball movement. They love to pick you apart.
First 3 for Santa Clara as the Zags go back inside with Emmanuel Inochinti.
Saint-Superi, I like to call him crafty.
A turnover. The Zags pushing. Now it's kicked by Jake Ensminger. And out of bounds to Gonzaga.
When you break down the defense, you want to hit your teammate right in the shot pocket. This is just a dribble drive, kick, up and over, just like shooting practice this afternoon. Corner 3.
Just past the midway point of the first half. It's been a high energized, intense affair. Battle for first in the West Coast Conference as the Zags go to work on the offensive glass again, and Graham Ike with the tip.
And it's so simple what they're doing, but it's so effective, getting Ike on the move where he can attack the glass.
Christian Hammond, the floater in the game, and Hammond has 6.
An aggressive start to the game by Hammond, looking to take his man in the one-on-one, having some success.
His brother Julian played for Tad Boyle in Colorado, and Dad Julian played at Loyola Marymount professionally in Australia. The lob over the top to Grant Foster. Ike cleans it up for Gonzaga.
Graham Ike is everywhere. Even when he's not involved in the play, he finds a way to make an impact.
Elijah Mahi backing his way down. The drop step turnaround. And elevating is Mario Saint-Superi for the rebound. It's the trailer, Grant Foster. Graham Ike launching a 3. Got it, we're tied.
And he blows a kiss to the student section. Graham Ike putting his mark on this game. A lot of times you're afraid to hit the big man in transition, but if your big man is Graham Ike, you can swing the rock his way, and you can bet good things are going to happen. Graham Ike from downtown. Zags on a run.
Tie game, 8:16 to go in a battle for first in the West Coast Conference. And one of the Santa Clara greats playing for Herb Sendek, Jalen Williams, who will ever be known also as an NBA champion.
Thanks.
Coming out of Santa Clara, here's some of his highlights from back in the day, playing for Herb Sendek and the Broncos. And we have the pleasure of being joined by Jalen Williams joining us here for this Gonzaga-Santa Clara matchup tonight. All right, Jalen, you played in this game. What's it like when you take the home floor against the Zags?
It's definitely a lot of energy. This is usually like the biggest game of the year, maybe aside from SF. I think they're in a really unique position. Like, they're both, like, obviously we haven't lost at home, so they're obviously better than we were at the time. So there's a lot more at stake, so it's really cool that everybody showed up. But definitely a lot of energy, probably a lot of nerves, just pure competition.
Now, the NBA is nice, but there's something special about college basketball. What's something you would say was one of your best memories playing here for the Broncos?
Definitely our BYU game. That'll always stick out. Obviously, I'm a little biased, game winner. But just the energy from the crowd. I think that was the first ranked opponent we had beaten. It was just really special. Obviously, the crowd being into it, just a moment I won't forget.
How are you doing right now? Because I know you're trying to nurse through an injury. How are you coming along?
Pretty good. You know, obviously it sucks having re-aggravated it again. This is probably the best time to be hurt, just as far as getting this All-Star break, getting some days where I don't get punished for not playing. So it's cool. I've been able to use the facilities out here and just kind of get back right.
Now, there's been a few changes in the college basketball scene since your day. What's your take on the new environment in the college landscape?
I think it's dope. It's definitely chaotic. I think, you know, as time progresses, there'll be more rules and just stuff in place. But right now, the fact that it's imperfect makes it really fun. You get to track along with it. Honestly, a lot of it's kind of like the NBA. Like, you don't know who's where, and every night, you know, they're just loaded with competition no matter where you're at.
Jerry Darland giving Santa Clara the lead again as Graham Ike down low knocks the game at 26 for the Zags. And I asked Herb Sendek earlier today, and I said, give me a good Jalen Williams story. It's a three for Jake Insminger, and Santa Clara reclaims the lead. And he just started smiling, Jalen. He said, Jalen Williams never has a bad day. Is that true?
No, I'm human. I definitely have bad days. I just try not to let it affect what I'm doing. My parents were big on nobody should know whether or not you're having a bad day or not. If something's going wrong, it should never show on your face. And I think just the energy you carry in and out every day can affect somebody else's. You never know what somebody else is going through. So every time I could be happy and uplift others, that's what I'm trying to do.
How special was this night for you, getting your jersey retired at your high school down in Gilbert, Arizona?
It's been a special year, man. Obviously, I had mine retired here like a couple months before. Being able to do it at my high school with my teammates was super dope. They weren't able to travel for this one, so the fact they got to see me get my jersey retired was really special. Have my family and friends in my hometown was dope.
Now, I know you NBA guys don't like to wear the same thing twice. I'm going to need that jacket from your retirement. I'm going to need to find that. That's a nice look.
I appreciate it.
Speaking of your teammates,
hold on to it, though, for sure.
I know one of them also has an invested interest tonight. A little trash talking between you and Chet Holmgren.
Actually, right now, I don't know if Chet's even watching this game. Shout out Chet, All-Star. There's always a little bit of... We've been talking some trash this year. We've been really good, so there's always a little bit. I can't talk too much. He beat me twice pretty handily, so hopefully he's watching it.
You had a very quiet ascension, and then all of a sudden you were a collegiate star. Now you're a bona fide NBA superstar. Has your work ethic changed? How's your approach to the game changed now that you're at the highest of highs, being a champion and a legitimate all-star?
Ooh, good question. Mark Dagnall's big on us coming into this year as everybody, you know, you win a championship and everybody kind of has this mentality of like, oh, we're the hunted now. Just for me and the rest of the team, like, we kind of flipped our mentality, like, still be hunters and go out there and compete and try and put people on their heels. And that's kind of how I look at, like, individual progress as well. Like, every time, I've never played a perfect basketball game, and that's something that I feel like the more and more you chase, the more and more you chase imperfection or just being elite at whatever your craft is, like, it'll just make you a better player. So I've had that, and I think winning has intensified that.
Jalen, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate you guys for having me.
Our pleasure. No, this is awesome. NBA champion and Santa Clara legend. Jalen Williams joining us here courtside and watching his alma mater battle for first with the Gonzaga Bulldogs as the Zags are starting to catch fire here after they trailed by as many as 8 as Mario Saint-Superi, the freshman, down the lane, and Gonzaga takes their first lead of the night.
For the Zags, that's what they need to do. Continue to spread the ball around. Don't anticipate anything. Take your opportunities when they present themselves.
Jerry Darlin missing from deep and kept alive by Buki Aboye for the Broncos. Hammond has it blocked, got it back, and they call it travel. So Adam Miller must not have blocked the shot. And getting it back was Hammond, and a turnover committed by Santa Clara. 33-31 Gonzaga. Again, our thanks to Jalen Williams for joining us. But Graham Ike, as soon as he got going, so did the rest of the Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Gonzaga is so good at adapting to your strategy. They know that you're going to double team Ike, so they spread the ball around. They anticipate the things that you anticipate, and now you're seeing a lot of guys get in the lane on penetrations because they realize the Broncos are all over the passing game.
Shot clock at 10. Adam Miller to Jalen Worley down low. The kick out, Emmanuel Inichinti, way off on the three. Here comes Terry Darlin back the other way, and Santa Clara pushes. Christian Hammond denied by Graham Ike. And out of the pack, Braden Smith back the other way. Emmanuel Inichinti lays it in.
Christian Hammond has to make better decisions for the Broncos. One-on-one against Ike. He does not have the advantage. Zags turn that stop into a quick transition bucket.
Gonzaga's made 7 of their last 8 shots from the floor. Sash Gavaluga, pull-up jumper, banks it in. First points for the redshirt freshman from Bulgaria, who spent last year at Villanova. Adam Miller missed a good look at a 3. Cherry Darlin rips it down. And Cherry Darlin, the former G-Leaguer, as he was the first one to play in the G League and it's come back to play in college. Open 3. And the stroke, KJ Cochran. He's got 9 to lead Santa Clara.
Great recognition by Aboye to make the extra pass, go from good to great. They had a good look, ended up with a great look.
Graham Ike has already made a 3 tonight. Braden Smith finds Jalen Worley underneath. He'll kick it out. Ike missing from deep. Cherry Darlin grabs it for the Broncos. (36-35) Santa Clara. Sash Gavaluga lost his footing trying to turn the corner. Five to shoot, Cherry Darlin. Pull up 3. And the rebound, Emmanuel Inichinti for Gonzaga. Jalen Worley down the lane. Open is Braden Smith. And up above everybody, Buki Aboye for Santa Clara. The Broncos push, pull up 3. In transition, in and out for Sash Gavaluga. Ike attacks off the dribble. Graham Ike down the lane.
He's so tough. Like, you literally have to respect his jumper. And once you do that, his size and strength just take over. Bullies his way down the lane.
15 for Ike. Pass deflected. The line, Emmanuel Inichinti and 1.
Roxy, we've seen this before with this Gonzaga team. Mental errors, defensive breakdowns, they capitalize in a matter of seconds. First, Ike in the one-on-one is a bucket. Make no mistake about it. one of the best bigs in the country down the lane. And if you turn it over, the Zags know what to do with it. They've got a chance for 3 the hard way when we get back.
Kev, it is a scene. It is a great atmosphere, as you can imagine, with first place on the line in the West Coast Conference. Santa Clara half game ahead because they played one more game than Gonzaga. Now the Zags beat the Broncos back in January up at the Kennel. And a 3-point lead for Gonzaga, and Emmanuel Inochinti going to the line. And yes, this is the battle for first place, but keep in mind, St. Mary's is still very much in the mix, as both of these teams still will go over to the rolling hills of Moraga before the end of the regular season.
Yeah, St. Mary's will absolutely have their say in the WCC championship in terms of league play.
Although they've got their hands full tonight out in Pacific. As Alan Graves hits the deck, and a timeout for Santa Clara to keep the possession. That's their second timeout burned here in the first half.
And it's been the Zags that have stepped up defensively, the deflections, the transition buckets, their energy level. Took a while for them to get started. I mean, Santa Clara did start strong, but recently it's been the Zags dominating.
And a lot of Graham Ike, who's taken so much more on his plate in the absence of Braden Huff.
So what are you going to do? This is just a sensational player on all ends of the floor. You see him there ripping down rebounds. He makes passes, but his actions as a rim protector, giving this offense and defense a backbone. Graham Ike is the man for Gonzaga. He does it so many different ways, and you can never tell from his expression. If he's up 2 or he's up 20, he's still intense.
17 for Ike, along with 8 rebounds, and we still have 1:49 left in the half.
Roxy, that's a game for most players in college basketball. You could get drafted to the NBA off 1/2 of Graham Ike's production.
And they're playing again without Braden Huff, and you and I have talked about it. He is a huge loss, and there's such a presence down low, the two of them working together. And Huff, who injured his knee after they played the Broncos last month up in Spokane, is Christian Hammond, 6 of 3 for Santa Clara, and makes it a 1-point game. But what do you notice about Gonzaga the way they're playing now without Huff as opposed to when they had it?
Well, I have to agree with our colleague Sean Farnham. They are a little bit better defensively in terms of what they can do, what they can take away. But on the offensive end, that was a two-headed monster. You had Huff, who was a one-on-one terror himself. You had those two guys passing the ball back and forth to each other, shooting 60, 70% from the floor. They played differently on the offensive end without him. But other players have stepped up, so the loss isn't as bad as you would think.
And a foul committed by Santa Clara, and it's on Jake Ensminger of the Broncos as Adam Miller grabbed the rebound, and there is Huff sitting on the bench. And here are the offensive numbers for Gonzaga with and without Braden Huff. And you can see
the drop-off is there, and it's just the game looks different. The things that he brings to the table, the high post jumper, the offensive rebounds, the block shot, the defensive boards, everybody has to do something different because he's not out there anymore.
But you alluded to the defense, and it's got better, and a lot of it has to do with Jalen Worley, who's such a team player, and Jalen Worley is a tremendous defender. As a whistle waves off the slam from Graham Ike, and if that's a foul on Santa Clara, which it is, that puts the Zags in the line. They're in the bonus for a 1-and-1.
Ike with the roll, and you see the attention he attracts. Two players come to pick him up on the roll, and they reach in and make contact. But Graham Ike just letting everybody know he will not be stopped.
1-and-1 for Ike with 43.9 left in the half. Second foul on Jake Ensminger. First trip to the line for Ike, 79%. And he misses the front end. And the rebound, Buki Aboye for Santa Clara.
Big possession here for the Broncos as it looks like the Zags may get the last shot.
The leaner. And falls off for Elijah Mahi. And now Gonzaga can play for the last shot of the half. Santa Clara jumped out to a lead as large as 8. And then Graham Ike and Gonzaga picked up their game. Mario Saint-Supiri drives. The drop off. Inside, the miss by Grant Foster. The follow by Mario Saint-Supiri. And Gonzaga has a 5-point lead at halftime.
The one thing this Gonzaga team knows how to do is finish. They get the defensive stop, they work the clock, and then the second effort on the putback, they got a 5-point lead.
Largest lead of the night for Gonzaga at halftime, and Mario Saint-Supiri with the follow, and a 5-point lead for the Zags, 44-39. Now time for the Jeep halftime report. Kevin Connors, Kevin Keats, and Norm Roberts. We get ready for the start of the second half of the Levy Center. It is Rocket with first place on the line in the West Coast Conference. And number 12, Gonzaga, their largest lead of the night, 44-39. As we get ready to start the second 20 minutes with Corey Williams and our ESPN crew. Roxy Burnson with you. And let's see who's heating up. Brought to you by DirecTV. Corey, Graham Ike, a monster first half for the Zags.
Well, he's as good as advertised, and he always delivers. The first half was no different for the big man, for the Zags. Domination in the paint, started off early, beating double teams, reading defenses, making sure he took all of his opportunities to score. He really anchored them offensively. The ball went inside, he made things happen. And at the other end, it was the guard play for the Broncos. Hammond in the lane, in the one-on-one, being aggressive. Him and KJ Cochran taking over, forcing the tempo, keeping this crowd locked into the game.
17 points, 9 rebounds for Ike. As Graham Ike has scored 20 or more in each of his last 6 games. If he gets to 20 tonight, it would be the 7th straight game, which ties a career best for him when he had 7 straight back in 2024. In the last 20 years, only one Gonzaga player has had 20 or more in 8 consecutive games. And that's Derek Rivio back in 2006. That's what Graham Ike is trying to get to at least, is a 7th straight game with 20 or more. Good ball movement by the Broncos. And a three to stroke Elijah Mahi.
Great offense right there by Herm Sedneck's team coming out of the timeout. Mahi gave it up and ended up getting it back for a good look.
5th three for Santa Clara tonight.
Rox, if you're Santa Clara, that's exactly how you want to start the second half.
And the counted goaltending on Buki Oboye. The hoop goes to Graham Ike.
And that's okay if you're the Broncos. You want one of those just to let him know, hey, we're here. And Graham Ike kind of used to seeing the ball go in. That ball looked like it was still on its way up, but the points are on the board.
Christian Hammond fires. And Graham Ike pulls it down, tries to outlet it, broken up, got it back. Gonzaga with 36 of their 46 in the paint.
Yeah, and anything you can do to try to slow down Graham Ike and have him hesitate a little bit is going to help. Because right now, he's just in full go mode.
Mario Saint-Superi starting the second half for Gonzaga. Shot clock inside 5. Saint-Superi a desperation 3. And the offensive rebound, Emmanuel Inochinti pulls it out for the Bulldogs. And a foul, and it's on Buki Oboye, trying to deny Graham Ike and the first on the Santa Clara big man.
And if you're Oboye, you got to do that every trip for the remainder of the game. Meet him on the block, battle, try to get him out of position. Ike obviously a little bit bigger.
If you're guarding Ike, Corey, how critical is it you get to your work early and not let him dictate and post you up?
Well, he's such a skilled player. You don't want to be predictable. Sometimes you bang him at the free throw line. Sometimes you walk down in front of him. Sometimes you give up a little ground and try to knock the ball away. You do everything you can so that he doesn't get comfortable and ends up taking a shot like that.
Out of the pack, Jake Ensminger attacks, stumbles, lost his footing. He was tripped. And a Gonzaga foul.
And you know, you posed a great question, Roxy. You don't want to become predictable when guarding a good player like Graham Ike, but right here, transition, sees a lane. I don't think he got tripped. Looked like he just stumbled, but the official's going to give the ball back to the Broncos.
Second on Jalen Warley. Christian Hammond. And an offensive foul, an illegal screen, and it's on Jake Ensminger as third. Turnover on Santa Clara. And the Zags with the ball up 4 here early in the second half. And just one more thought about defending Ike. You're going to double him quite a bit.
Right.
Do you change the defender who comes as the double teamer to confuse Ike?
You absolutely have to, because Ike is a phenomenal passer. So if he sees big to big, he knows his other big man's open. If he sees a guard, he knows to swing it out for the three. Like, you have to constantly keep him thinking. But the problem is, he's okay with thinking. He's okay with finding his open guy. He loves picking apart the defense and being the facilitator.
He's on the final 20 for the Wooden Award, which was announced earlier this week. Spinning into key, off balance, tough shot. Elijah Mahi for the Broncos.
He can be so big for Santa Clara, size, ability to get to the rim right there with a nice fadeaway.
Manuel Inochinti with a head start down the lane.
The Zags do such a good job of mixing it up. You pay so much attention to their pick and rolls. Guys catch the ball and get straight line drives.
And Inochinti now with 11, just his 4th double-figure scoring game of the year. Mahi, and one, Elijah Mahi.
We had a chance to talk to this young man earlier today and shoot around, and I was just impressed with his overall size. But when you see him moving like this, he is a runaway freight train that cannot be stopped. Big guy with great guard skills, able to finish in traffic.
3rd on Jalen Warlick. Mahi, 69% foul shooter, 1 for 1 from the line. And the only Bronco that has started every game for Herb Sendek this season, and it gets the home court roll.
And Roxy, that 3rd foul on Warley could be an issue if they try to go at him again, forcing the Zags to play small ball for a while. And right now, he's still out on the court.
Manuel Inochinti fires. In and out on the 3. Offensive rebound, the kick out. Mario St-Superi has a 3 spin out. And the loose ball tracked down by Elijah Mahi, who tiptoes the sideline. Down the lane. And a foul will get Alan Graves to the line for the Broncos. Oh, the Super Bowl was played right down the street. You want to talk about tiptoeing the sideline?
Right here, body control, doesn't get out of bounds, keeping the dribble with his offhand, and then making the heads-up pass, a little shovel pass to get to the free throw line. Santa Clara applying some pressure here in the second half.
2nd foul on Graham Ike. Alan Graves at the line for the Broncos. 2 for 2 tonight for the strike. Big doubleheader for you Monday on ESPN. It starts with number 4 Duke taking on the Orange at Cameron Indoor at 7 Eastern. And then into the Big 12 and a top 5 matchup between number 3 Houston in Ames and for little Hilton Magic against number 5 Iowa State. What a night Monday of college hoops on ESPN and the app. Alan Graves and Santa Clara seesaws in front.
You know, Roxy, the last time these two teams hooked up, the Zags went on a big run in the second half to kind of put the game away. And it happened around 7 or 8 minutes into the half. And you wonder, what has Santa Clara learned from that game? Can they stay strong here in the second half?
And a foul will get Tyon Grant Foster to the line. And as customary with Grant Foster, he changed his shoes at halftime. He toned it down in the first half, and he brought the sparkles back for half number 2.
His whole goal is to make things happen offensively, whether it's lobs, dunks, penetrations. The man with the magic shoes. Call those the Michael Jackson Billie Jeans.
3rd on Alan Graves. And Grant Foster ties the game. And so here are the shoes that he wore in the first half and then now here in the second half. And this is what he's been doing back to high school. That he would change his shoes always. Wear a different pair in each half, and he's continued that trend.
All athletes have some level of superstition, but this is the first time I've ever seen the changing of the shoes.
Gonzaga ball over toward the corner. Would you?
No.
No.
I couldn't.
I couldn't even finish the sentence.
I'm not even cool enough to pull that off. My nephews and my nieces would clown me so bad if I showed up.
Steal off the inbound. The Broncos push it. Elijah Mahi spinning. Throws up a wild shot pulled down by Graham Ike for the Zags. Graham Ike leans in. And a foul on Buki Aboye, his second, and Ike will head to the stripe. Tied 49 up with first place on the line in the West Coast Conference.
Introducing Sports Center for you, personalized every single day. Now available on the ESPN app. Powered by your favorites.
First place on the line of the West Coast Conference tonight. The Zags and Santa Clara tied with 15:54 to go. And right now, Joe Lunardi, ESPN's bracketologist, has 3 West Coast Conference teams in the field with Gonzaga, St. Mary's, and Santa Clara. And if the Broncos go, the first time since Steve Nash was a senior here at Santa Clara in 1996. 3 teams right now in the field, and that's what the West Coast Conference is hoping to get. And the Zags right now on the 3 line, according to Joey Brackens.
Well, you know, the program at Gonzaga has been elite for so long. They're not sneaking up on anybody, but I tell you what, both Santa Clara and St. Mary's are teams that could easily win a couple of games the first weekend of the tournament.
Graham Ike at the line for Gonzaga. 19 points for Ike. And it's just remarkable the season he has had. As the free throw spins out, he's now 0 for 2 from the line. He's got his 13th double-double of the season tonight. And Graham Ike is the leading active scorer in college basketball. He scored 2,377 points in his career at Wyoming and Gonzaga, but missed both in the rebound. Buki Aboye for the Broncos. Overflow crowd here at the Levy Center, poked away by Tyon Grant-Foster. And a turnover committed by Santa Clara.
Yeah, Graves has to do a better job in the post. He had a mismatch and should have taken his time, but instead Foster pokes it away.
Ike going to work. Hits the cutting Grant-Foster, and he spikes it home. Tyon Grant-Foster.
Cutting off of the double team from Ike. This Gonzaga team is so patient, so methodical.
And the passing ability of Ike again on display.
Not a lot of guys want the ball so they can give it up, but he's that type of player. That's the play Graves needed to make before the turnover. He's got that one-on-one and that height advantage.
And Alan Graves ties the game. 51 up, inside 15 to go. Tyon Grant Foster from 3. And the rebound, Buki Aboye for Santa Clara. Here's Graves. Alan Graves backing his way in. Banks it in, and Santa Clara takes the lead.
That is free lunch for Graves on the block. No disrespect to Grant Foster, but he just can't check him down there.
6 lead change tonight. And the slam again for Tyon Grant Foster.
Good answer right there for Grant Foster, cutting to the basket. Gave up a couple of buckets, got him back.
Our 9th tie of the game.
Talked about the Zags having to go small with Worley and the fouls. This lineup, Santa Clara getting into the paint.
Davis Fogel whistled for the foul, sending Christian Hammond to the line for the Broncos.
Ball movement so key for Gonzaga. Right here, Ike with the dime, hesitation, and the finish. Both teams well coached, unselfish players.
Hammond 79% from the line. And one more coming. ABC women's basketball doubleheader. Have for you tomorrow starting at 1 Eastern in the Battle of the Blues between number 11 Duke and number 21 North Carolina at Cameron Indoor. And then number 4 Texas takes on Talasia Cooper. And number 22 Tennessee in Knoxville. Like everything else, available on the ESPN app as well. One more for Hammond. Interesting story with Christian Hammond, who played a couple of years ago as a true freshman. Redshirted last year and now blossoming as a third-year sophomore. Davis Fogel underneath. The scoop by Fogel, and Gonzaga reclaims the lead.
Well, he was in no man's land, but with the extension, Fogel makes it happen.
First points for Davis Fogel tonight. Terry Darling, 3!
You can see right now this Santa Clara team doesn't look like they're going to bend or crease. Big shot after big shot answer for every play the Zags make.
Santa Clara 2 for 3 outside the arc here in half number 2. Here's Fogel on the baseline. 5 to shoot for Gonzaga. Fogel, tough contested 3. And Jake Ensminger pulls down the rebound for Santa Clara. Alan Graves kept that foot down. Now a 3 in the stroke. Sach Gabaluga.
Roxy, you're a little guy. You know you got to put a little lift on it when the big fella's closing out on you. And that's all he needed from straight away. A game of momentum and swings. A battle to sit atop the WCC conference, but right now it's the Broncos of Santa Clara dialing in from distance, back-to-back three-pointers as they've taken a 5-point lead.
First place on the line in the WCC tonight here at the Levy Center, and a 6-0 run has given Santa Clara a 5-point lead. Number 12 Gonzaga. As the Zags have dominated the all-time series, they've won 52 of the last 56. But keep in mind, the West Coast Conference landscape is changing, and this is the last go-round for the Zags in the WCC. They'll be joining the Pac-12 starting next season. But Santa Clara would like to give a parting gift on their way out the door.
Yeah, it's a unique opportunity to put some stuff in the history books that'll never change. The Zags' last run through the conference, they obviously want to go out on top. But, Roxy, you know the WCC. You have to win a game like this on the road to end up in first place. Every year, it never fails. Whoever it is, they've got to win games like this.
And despite who wins tonight, there's still a lot to be decided in the WCC, as both Gonzaga and Santa Clara have to go to St. Mary's, who's hovering right behind these two teams. And the only losses the Gales have were to Gonzaga and here to Santa Clara.
And playing in that gym in Moraga, California, you and I both know how tough they are.
Slapped out of bounds by Buki Aboye, and it belongs to Gonzaga. We're going back the other way. Inside 12 minutes to go. Broncos up 5 on the Zags. It's a really big Monday coming up on ESPN. We'll start it at Cameron Indoor as number 4 Duke takes on the Orange of Syracuse starting at 7 Eastern. And then into the Big 12, 2 teams in the top 5 at Hilton Coliseum. Number 3 Houston, Kelvin Sampson's Cougars taking on the Cyclones, Iowa State, number 5. What a night of hoops it's going to be on ESPN and the app. Coming up, big Monday.
Boy, Houston finds a way to win that game. They got a claim, in my mind, to the number 1 spot, given the troubles down in Tucson over the last couple of days.
It's going to be a great final 11:56 here. 60-55, Santa Clara leads Gonzaga. What have you seen for the Broncos, Corey, recently that has them 5 points up?
Well, they're avoiding the drought. They're answering big plays with big plays of their own. The first time these 2 teams hooked up, the Zags delivered a knockout run in the second half, and it was over. But this year, this time out, Santa Clara, whether it's threes, free throws, layups, they are answering the bell. Right now, harassing Ike, making him give it up. Trying to force difficult shots.
The give and go with Davis Fogel to lay in for Ike.
Well, even when Ike gives it up, it always comes back to him. Either he gets the offensive rebound put back or his teammates find him.
7 straight 20-point game for Ike. Turnaround floater missed by Allen Graves, and the rebound lost out of bounds by Tyon Grant Foster, but last touch by Allen Graves of Santa Clara. And Herb Sendek checking with his bench to potentially challenge this.
He may want to challenge this because I think this went off Foster's leg. Now there's some contact here, but when he goes to dribble, he's got nowhere to go. And actually, it's off the leg.
That's a really good call.
Yeah, good call.
And our crew has been terrific tonight, led by Darren George, Chris Merlot, and Matt Rafferty, our crew.
What about the camera crew? They were right on that.
Our whole production crew. Game like this, bringing out the best in everybody. Ike, and a reach in, and a foul committed by Buki Aboye, and the third on the Santa Clara big man.
Yeah, not necessarily the best foul right there. Got caught behind Ike. You're not going to get around him. He's too big. Just got to wait on the double team.
Team foul number 5 on the Broncos. Ike out of the double team. Shot clock inside 10. Davis Fogel attacks. Fogel to the basket. And a steal. Fogel gets it right back for the Zags. And Gonzaga takes the lead. Tremendous sequence by Davis Fogel.
Deja vu from a game ago against Washington State. Fogel, the spark, 2 great plays back-to-back.
Allen Graves had a good look at the 3. 6 straight for the Zags, they're up 1. In transition, Grant Foster. Drops it off across the key, Emmanuel Inochinti. 8 straight for the Zags.
Incredible plays by the Zags right here. Just when you think they don't have anything, they create something.
They've turned it up at both ends of the floor, and Allen Graves missing everything on that reverse.
Graham Ike with his point guard skills on display.
And they're wrestling for the ball, and the arrow goes to Gonzaga.
We've seen Davis Fogel take over, and right there, straight line drive. And look at the anticipation. He sees a lazy pass, he picks it off, and he's right back to the rim. 4 quick points for the Zags, getting them out to this 3-point lead.
Davis Fogel's been in double digits 5 of the last 7 games, and in the absence of Brayton Huff, he has taken on an expanded role for Mark Few, and he has flourished.
Well, you've got nothing to lose. The team turns to you. They need more minutes. They need more productivity. It's exactly why Coach Mark Few put him in the game. That young man is growing so much this season.
Ike lost it. Allen Graves leads a 2-on-1. Got it back. Graves is hammered. He'll get to the line.
I was surprised Graves gave this up. When the turnover happened, he had the size advantage, and they luckily got the ball to bounce back their way. He'll get a pair of free throws at a time where the Broncos' last 2 or 3 possessions weren't that great.
First on Mario Saint-Supiri. Allen Graves 4 for 4 at the line, 8 points tonight for the redshirt freshman. Allen Graves, as you look at some of the numbers for him in league play and how he's elevated his play in the WCC. And Graves already has set a Santa Clara freshman steals record. Double-doubles in 2 of the last 4 games coming in, and a 4-time WCC freshman of the week.
He's getting a guard, an experienced big, who always applies pressure offensively. He's going to have to match that as Grant Foster just bullies his way to the rim.
14 for Tyon Grant Foster. Back the other way, and the scoop missed by Brent Napper. And Tyon Grant Foster pushes, leads the break, Emmanuel Inochinti, and he's fouled at the rim. And a hard fall. There was a long way to drop for Emmanuel Inochinti, who was still down. And now being helped up by his teammates.
Such a quick attack in transition. The turnover, bounce pass, straight to the rim, and definitely some contact down low.
And that's the fourth on Allen Graves with 8:51 remaining. And they're going to review it to see if it warrants an upgrade from the common foul that was called. It will be reviewed again. The ruling on the floor, the call was for a common foul. If it does get upgraded to a flagrant one, it would be 2 shots and possession for Gonzaga. Our officials are discussing it here with 8:51 to go, and the Zags up 3 on Santa Clara in this battle for first in the WCC. And you play referee.
Well, for me, it looks like a basketball play. He goes up high, he actually tries to get the ball. Now, everything that happens down low is kind of incidental, but it doesn't look like a dirty play at all. A little contact. I think he makes contact with his head, but it's actually, he gets hooked. As he's coming to the ground, Graves, watch that arm. He kind of grabs him and pulls him down as well.
As Inochinti, you could see trying to brace himself,
right,
knowing the fall was coming. I'm with you. I don't think this warrants an upgrade to a flagrant one.
No.
It should stay a common foul, but I'm not paid to wear the stripes.
Well, we've seen plays where the big man just clearly runs through the guy and sends him into the stands. That's not what that was. He could have easily just ran straight through him, and then you would have had what I think would have been a flagrant foul. Anytime a guy's airborne, you just take him out. But he tried to make a block. There was some contact. I think it's a common foul. I'd be surprised if they upgraded.
Our crew getting together to further discuss after viewing the replay at the monitor there at the scorer's table, and Chris Merlot making his way over to us to give us an explanation. And it's a common foul. Common foul, like we thought it would be, which means we just played a couple of free throws, and here we go.
We played pickup in the 90s, Roxy. We know that's a common foul.
Some places that might not have been a foul.
Yeah.
2 shots for Emmanuel Inochinti. Just a 50% foul shooter on the year, 1 for 1 tonight. Transfer from Tarleton. Inochinti rattles out. Really has given Gonzaga this season a tremendous defensive presence with his length on the wing. He's a stifling defender.
Great defender, but I also like the fact that he takes his opportunities to contribute on the offensive end. He'll knock down the 3, he'll get to the rim.
He's got 14 tonight, 1 off the season high. And Gonzaga right now on an 11-2 run to take a 4-point lead.
You know, we're under 10 minutes left in this game, and Graham Ike has not left the floor, so you wonder, can he still play at a high level for the Zags down the stretch?
Impressive move from Christian Hammond. Cuts the lead to 2. Here's Davis Vogel. A drop off inside. Inochinti wrestles it away. Tyon Grant Foster drives, and the finger roll.
Boy, how good is he? Shot clock winding down, takes matters into his own hands for the finger roll.
One thing I could do was finger roll. A 3 way off for Buki Aboye, but kept alive by Santa Clara. Then the floater missed by Christian Hammond. And here come the Zags. Tyon Grant Foster zigzags to the bucket that blows the layup. Emmanuel Inochinti is fouled. Four-point lead for Gonzaga. 7:43 to go. First place on the line at Santa Clara tonight in the WCC.
There's about 20 teams right now that could get to the Final Four.
Boozer, a man shot. We have liftoff. Just a terrific talent all the way around.
I can't wait to watch that one next Saturday. Michigan and Duke. What a matchup that's going to be. And speaking of matchups, we've got a great one here tonight at the Levy Center, an overflow crowd. And the electricity, you can feel it in this building. The energy tonight. The biggest game potentially ever in this building for Santa Clara. And the Broncos and the Zags in a battle for first with St. Mary's right behind them. And St. Mary's in position to get a win tonight in Stockton against Pacific. And then keep in mind, though, as much as we talk about, okay, first place, Santa Clara and Gonzaga, St. Mary's is right there. And the Gales will host each of these teams before the end of the regular season. Emmanuel Inocenti at the line. That rattles in, and he is tied a season high with 15 points. He also dropped 15 on Maryland.
And tonight, Rocks, if the Broncos want this, they're going to have to dig deep because this Gonzaga team is relentless. They continue to stay on the attack, transition, getting to the free throw line. They are not going to slow down offensively.
Largest lead of the night for Gonzaga. Christian Hammond, and a foul, and a push, and it's on Graham Ike, his third. Team foul number 6 on Gonzaga, and the personal foul problems for Santa Clara. Alan Graves coming back with 4 fouls into the game with 7:25 to go. There's the third foul on Ike. Also for the Broncos, Buki Oboye has 4 fouls. Jake Ensminger playing with 3. Then Gonzaga 3 for Graham Ike and 3 for Jalen Warland. The flyby, the lay-in, Elijah Mahi for the Broncos.
And I was just going to say, Mahi and Graves really got to crank it up here for the Broncos. Their offense was a little predictable. They got bailed out by a ticky-tack foul on Ike. But right there, the strong take by Mahi.
Herb Sendek rolling the dice with Graves and Oboye playing with 4 fouls and lots of time. And Buki Oboye blocks that one with his nose.
You're going to have to give him a minute because I know that's got to sting. He took that ball right to the nose.
Ooh. Not fun.
Not at all.
Good to see Buki Oboye is okay.
Yeah, he's really answered the call and done the best job to be expected, trying to slow down Graham Ike, giving up some considerable, a few pounds, just a few, but grinding and pushing on the block, fighting for every inch. Done a great job tonight.
Adam Miller off the inbound, and a corner 3.
Boy, that is a tough shot, but he's made a career out of making that corner 3.
Adam Miller has been at Illinois, LSU, Arizona State, now Gonzaga. Tonight making his 130th career start. And a huge 3 giving Gonzaga their largest lead. And Adam Miller, it's almost as if he's still almost trying to find his way with Gonzaga and his role with this team.
Yeah, he's part of a great unit, but it's not like his previous teams he's played for where they're running things for him and trying to create opportunities. This Gonzaga team, the open guy is the threat.
Grant Foster with the block. Ike, offensive foul. That's the 4th on Graham Ike.
There's a ton of time remaining in the game, and we'll see. I think Mark Few's going to take advantage of his 7-point lead and rest his star player, which is a wise decision. But right here, the off arm up around the neck area. A little Hollywood for those of you who like the Grammys.
There was a little bit of a push.
I mean, the Oscars, yeah, a little bit.
Ike will sit with the 4 fouls as Ismaila Diane checks in, the sophomore from Senegal.
Question now is, can the Broncos take advantage of the lane?
Christian Hammond, the pull-up.
Boy, he's been on cruise control all night. Great looking mid-range game. Knocked down several shots like that.
On the drive, Tyon Grant Foster will get to the free throw line.
You know, Hammond's been effective. He doesn't get all the way to the 10, but what he can do is stop on a dime and hit you with the pull-up or the floater right there. Little shoulder bump, up and over. Been doing that all night for the Broncos.
Both teams in the bonus. 8 Santa Clara team foul. And a 2-shot foul as Tyon Grant Foster was going up. 4 for 7 from the line for Grant Foster. ABC women's basketball doubleheader for you tomorrow, as number 11 Duke hosts number 21 North Carolina in the Battle of the Blues at 1 Eastern. And then Madison Booker, number 4 Texas, take on number 22 Tennessee in Knoxville. Like everything else, games on ABC and the app. Both free throws missed by Tyon Grant Foster. And to the other end, Santa Clara headed to the line. First foul on Ismaila Diane.
But Rox, if you're a student of the game like we are, you know that's a pretty significant sequence. They miss 2 free throws and give the Broncos an opportunity to maybe put 2 points up on the board with no time going off the clock. They could have been up 7.
Alan Graves now 7 for 7 at the line.
In a game like this, there's a huge difference between being up 7 and being up 3.
It's been tight the whole night. Gonzaga's largest lead, 7. Santa Clara led by as many as 8 in the first half. Graves missing the second, but kept alive by Buki Oboye. Hammond for 3. And up over everybody, Tyon Grant Foster with a rebound, but a foul on Gonzaga.
I think they may have gotten him for hands in the back before he took off and got that rebound. And Roxy, I got to tell you, I don't think that offensive rebound happens if Graham Ike's on the floor. Shot goes up, they're locked up, and there's a little bit of a hold.
They called it on Ismaila Diane, his second. And the front end of the 1-and-1 by Buki Oboye nailed. He's got one more. Oboye just a 65% foul shooter.
This game could swing on the free throw line. Zags missed 2. Broncos unable to capture, and they
now Mahe knocks down Grant Foster and a foul, the first on Elijah Mahe. And Grant Foster back to the other end. Team foul number 9 and a 1-and-1 for Gonzaga. 5:46 to go. Mark Few's got Graham Ike over on the bench with 4 fouls. When do you think about bringing Ike back?
I think when you're on the other side, inside of 3 minutes, if it's a 1-possession game inside of 3 minutes, you trust that your big can play the final 3 minutes. I think when you start looking at the 4-minute mark, you're rolling the dice because you know the Broncos are going to go right at him the moment he comes back on the floor.
But you also have to trust him.
Yeah, you have to trust him.
One more for Tyon Grant Foster.
But what happens when a player has 4 fouls? The opposing coach immediately puts that player in action. Ball screens, you post him up, you make sure he can't hide. Graham Ike will be involved in ball screens the moment he returns to the floor because Herb Sendek is a great coach.
Still 5:46 to go. Zags by 5. Grant Foster with 18.
He's really had a monster game, getting rebounds, pushing it down the court, dunks, layups, and Broncos lucky they weren't whistled for a foul right there.
Kept alive by Alan Graves. Spinning in the lane. Too much from Elijah Mahe, and a foul the other way. If that's on Graves, he's fouled out. Depends on who the foul was called on. And it was called on Saj Gavalugov, not Graves. And that's the third on Gavalugov. 2 shots is Gonzaga now in the double bonus. And Adam Miller, a 71% foul shooter. One more for Miller. Spent the last 2 years at Arizona State, 1 year at LSU, and also his freshman year at Illinois. And Adam Miller nails both, and Gonzaga has maxed their largest lead.
Just when things were looking kind of grim for the Zags, some missed free throws, and they gave up a few offensive rebounds, but they find themselves up 7. Can they defend without fouling?
And a travel on Elijah Mahi.
And that's just not what you want if you're the Broncos. Every possession matters for the remainder of this game, and you've got to at least get shot attempts.
Brent Napper comes back as Saj Gavalugov. They've taken him down the tunnel there. Five minutes to go. Winner, sole possession of first in the West Coast Conference. Stepping into a 3. Too strong from Tyon Grant Foster. Elijah Mahi pushes. Mahi goes behind the back, all the way to the bucket. What a move by Elijah Mahi. Saint-Superi stumbles, lost the ball. Picked up by the Broncos, but then lost out of bounds. Buki Aboyi couldn't control it. And it's a Gonzaga ball on the baseline, but how about the move by Elijah Mahi in the open floor?
You need points and you need them fast. Just 1-on-3, 1-on-4, scores on the whole team. Beautiful move. Just trusting his handle and ends up with a layup. But another opportunity. That 50-50 ball, the Broncos don't come up with it. The Zags will have 12 to shoot.
Tyon Grant Foster. Manuel Inatinti, 3 to shoot. Up 1 foot to step back. And a rebound tipped out. Elijah Mahi has it for Santa Clara.
Solid defense by the Broncos. Everybody stayed down. Nobody fouled the shooter. They're going to try to convert here.
Christian Hammond lost his footing. Leaking out Adam Miller ahead of everybody. And he drops it in. Alan Graves. Backing his way in. And the foul on Ismaila Diane. Graves will shoot free throws. 3:25 to go, and Gonzaga 58 points in the paint.
Trying to do a little too much in the half court leads to the fall, the turnover, and the Zags get straight to business as they're up 7.
Coming up next on ESPN Sports Center with Trevor Scales and Phil Murphy. Also on the ESPN app. Avert your eyes from the lead there, Corey Williams, the former Arizona Wildcat. And Damian Lillard, who's been injured, but yet wins the three-point contest at the NBA All-Star Game. A lot to come up on SportsCenter coming up after the ball game. Any concern with your Wildcats?
Not at all. I think when you look at the Big 12, nobody is going to go through that league unscathed and undefeated. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Big 12 has 5 teams in the Sweet 16, that the top of that league can easily win its first 2 games in the tournament. So no shame in a loss like that, but you want to win more than you lose. And obviously, Tommy Lloyd and the Wildcats want to fix a few things. Koa Pete unavailable the second half of that game, but credit Texas Tech. That was a brutal game, one of the most hostile places to go into, and they made big buckets down the stretch.
Of course, Tommy Lloyd, 21 years at Gonzaga prior to taking the Arizona job, and one more for Alan Graves. Graham Ike back with his 4 fouls and 3:25 to go.
Yeah, it's a good situation. You're under 4 minutes, you've got a lead, and you've got an experienced player who knows how to keep his hands in his pocket and not foul out of a game.
79-74, Gonzaga.
And if you're the Broncos, you've got to catch a shutout. You have to defend without fouling. This is not a team in Gonzaga that turns it over or misses free throws.
Mario Saint Superi the reverse on the drive to the bucket. Mahi attacks. And Graham Ike pulls it down, and Herb Sendek losing his mind over there. He thought Graham Ike shoved Alan Graves out of the way.
And I think he might have a case on that particular foul, but no call. And now the Broncos down 7.
Adam Miller. 5 on the shot clock. Tough off balance, and Miller will get to the line. A foul on Santa Clara.
Roxy, we've been talking about it all night. What makes Gonzaga so tough, they've got 5 or 6 guys who can finish at the end of the shot clock possession. It doesn't really matter where the ball ends up. You've got a guy who can make something happen.
And they've been big-time scorers. Adam Miller was a big-time scorer before he got to Gonzaga. Same with Tyon Grant Foster.
Both go-to guys at their respective programs before coming here, but they've sacrificed a lot of their game to be a part of something bigger. But when duty calls, they get the ball in their hands and they make it happen.
Rattles in for Adam Miller. Largest lead of the night for Gonzaga. Santa Clara have a run in them inside 2.5 to go. Sash Gabaluga. 3.
That's the first part of the formula, the big 3. Can they force a turnover? They're going to need turnovers out of Gonzaga here over the final 2 minutes.
Inside 2 minutes to go.
There you see the points in the paint, 60 points in the paint. We talked to Elijah Mahi. He said that could not happen tonight, that they had to stand strong in the paint.
Adam Miller fires. Graham Ike, the offensive rebound. Goes to work. Knocked away by Buki Aboye.
I don't know how that wasn't a foul. Just now, Graham Ike looked at the official and just decided to jog back down court, but a lot of contact on that last play.
The steal of Vanderlyn, and Chinty played the passing lane.
Roxy, you talked about his defense, and there it shows up. He baited them into that skip pass, knowing he had the quickness to run it down.
And a foul, and Alan Graves is fouled out with 1:08 to play. And 2 shots for Gonzaga, 68 seconds to go.
We talked about the importance of this game. Just a half game separation between these two clubs. but Gonzaga well on its way to a big road win in conference play.
Mark Few monopolizing the situation to get a quick diagram over there, while Herb Sendek contemplating who he's going to send into the ball game for the fouled out Braves. And James Ensminger comes back. Broncos are undefeated in this building and have won 9 straight coming in and are 22-5. With down 6, number 12 Gonzaga, and Mario Saint-Supiri, 88% foul shooter. Gonzaga by 8.
Got to get a look at a good 3 and then set their pressure.
Saj Gavalugon on the drive. Gavalugon left it short. Graham Ike pulls it down. Outlets to Grant Foster. 2-on-1 if they want it. The lob. Tied Grant Foster.
Roxy, he's been the difference in the second half. His plays, his layups, his free throws.
Buki Aboye will get to the line. It's on Grant Foster.
And this is what I talk about when we say that they're persistent. They're always in attack mode, never looking to run out the clock. They get the outlet pass, push it down the floor, and then it's showtime.
Two shots for Buki Aboye. But Gonzaga, regardless if it's on the floor, Corey, down the stretch, they just know how to win.
Right. The formula is missed free throws and turnovers. That's how you give a game away. And Gonzaga just simply does not do that. And you can tell by the emotion on the bench, they knew the environment they were coming into. You can see how much respect they have for this Santa Clara team in this gym. They knew the history, they knew what they were up against, and they're extremely pleased with how things are looking right now with 44 seconds to go.
87-79 Gonzaga, 44 seconds to go. And for the Zags to come down to the Bay Area, if they can finish this one off, they'll be in sole possession of first place. And they'll be back in the Bay Area coming up Wednesday to take on San Francisco. They'll play the USF Dons at the Chase Center, home of the Warriors, and not on the Hilltop. So USF losing a little bit of that home court advantage.
A little bit of the home court advantage, but, and I'll say it, and I'll throw it out there in the universe, the loss to Portland is always out there. Those games are not any pushover games that they have remaining. They've got to show up.
Pacific will not be a pushover for Gonzaga. The Tigers, right now, the 4th best team in the league if you look at the standings. And Portland, who shot Gonzaga last week at the Chiles Center. And then the big showdown to end the regular season in Moraga with St. Mary's.
You know, Mark Few and his staff making sure his guys stay focused every game, one game at a time in this WCC conference.
The only loss that Santa Clara has in WCC play is at Gonzaga. And now they're in danger of getting swept by the Zags, where Gonzaga's beaten Santa Clara 52 of the last 56. Full court pressure for the Broncos. And ball comes into Mario Saint-Supiri. That's not the guy you want to foul. And he gets a timeout before they can get him with the trap over there in the corner. That leaves Gonzaga with just one timeout left. Each team with one timeout. And we went through the remaining schedule for the Zags. Here's what the Broncos have left, and they have a very difficult final few games. They'll be at San Francisco. That is next Saturday. What a week it is for Chris Gerlitsen and the Dons. You have Gonzaga and Santa Clara back-to-back, and then they'll head to Moraga. Before Gonzaga plays at St. Mary's, it'll be Santa Clara at St. Mary's, and then Oregon State comes in here, and Wayne Tinkle's Beavers, they looked tremendous the other night in San Francisco against the Dons.
Well, you know, I'm a huge Wayne Tinkle fan, and I love the job he does with his teams year after year. You're right, they're tricky. They always find a way to compete. They get you off your game, get you off balance, and the next thing you know, the Beavers have beaten you. And he always has a couple of magical games every year.
Reminder, Sports Center coming up next. And we are the icing on the cake of a tremendous day of college basketball on ESPN. Started with game day in Tucson early this morning. Wall-to-wall, phenomenal games, and we are the last one of the day.
I would say save the best for last, but we're going to run into Billis and Jay somewhere. They're going to give me grief about that, but you're right. An outstanding day of basketball all across the country. Happy to be a part of it. Great matchup here tonight in the WCC. I think the Zags are a team that the whole country knows about, but this Santa Clara team is special as well.
Ball comes in to Adam Miller. And Jake Ensminger is now fouled out as he will put Adam Miller at the line. Correction, 4th on Ensminger. And 2 shots for Miller. See, that's what I get for listening to Walton all these years. I thought his name was Jake.
Thought his name was Jake?
Adam Miller 4 for 4 at the line. So you're telling me it's Jay Billis, not Jake?
Jay Billis.
Okay. All right.
Not Jake.
All right. One more for Adam Miller.
Walton would put a second L in there. Billis with 2 L's. 1 or 2, you'd ask him.
One more, Adam Miller, and the Zags trying to go to 13-1 on the WCC. And Gonzaga with a win tonight will make it 19 straight seasons of 25 or more wins. Jake Ensminger 3, timeout Broncos. Second 3 for Ensminger tonight. And that is the last timeout for Herb Sendek and Santa Clara. 89-82 Zags, and we talked about it at the top of the show, Corey, how dominant Gonzaga is in the paint. They lead the country in paint points, and tonight was a clinic of what they do.
Roxy, you're talking about over 60 points from close range, 62 to be exact. It's almost impossible to beat someone when they're shooting 70% from the floor and they're shooting 18 inches away from the hoop. The Zags keeping the ball inside, high percentage basketball. It's just math. Eventually, over 40 minutes, it's going to wear you down, and that's why they're probably going to get out of here with a win tonight.
62 to 89 in the paint. Manuel Inichinti can run the baseline here with the full court press put on by Santa Clara.
And you know, some of it was Graham Ike, but a lot of it was the people Ike passed to that were scoring baskets in the lane as well.
The last time out for the Zags here with 28.7 to go and difficulty getting it in. But Gonzaga, in a lot of ways, Mark Few had to rework this team. Who knows if Braden Huff will be back? They said the timeline is 4 to 8 weeks. It's looking like it's going to be later rather than sooner if they get Braden Huff back. And in the meantime, look, you can't change everything, but the tweaks that Mark Few has made, and you can see how it's benefited the talent that he has.
Yeah, and you get your guys to focus on what's being added and not what we lost, and you keep them in that frame of mind. Now, when Huff returns, he's going to have to fit into the rhythm that's already been established in his absence. But you know this Gonzaga team and the coaching staff will be able to do that, and he's the kind of player that will want to fit in and be a part of what's going on.
Ball comes in to Adam Miller, and he's grabbed immediately by Christian Hammond.
Always the details with Mark Few, making sure his top free throw shooter gets the inbound pass. It's a small detail, but a detail nonetheless.
2 more for Adam Miller at the line, who has his season high tonight. 16 for Miller, who's 6 for 6 from the line. It's been an uneven ride for him this year, but a big performance when Gonzaga needed it in a battle for first place here in mid-February.
I go back to that corner three he hit earlier in the half, just an inbounds pass that kind of pushed the lead, I believe, out to 7. A quick shot, but he drilled it, gave his team some breathing room.
All the way to the bucket, the layup, Christian Hammond. Either side has a timeout. Adam Miller leaks out behind everybody.
Always difficult in the final seconds when you have to put on a full court press and guys are tired and everybody's just leaking out. Miller going to get another one here.
I thought the NBA All-Star game is tomorrow. Adam Miller will take the layup.
Well, Miller wanted to dribble out the clock, but the Broncos looked like they were going to foul him.
And that'll do it. They trailed by as many as 8 in the first half, 5 in the second half, but Gonzaga comes back and wins on the road, handing Santa Clara their first home loss of the year and ends the Broncos' 9-game winning streak. And number 12, Gonzaga, alone atop the West Coast Conference.
When they needed to, they played outstanding basketball down the stretch. This is a team that does not bend, fold, or crease. The Zags with a tough road win.
94-86, Gonzaga, and they're alone atop the conference as they win it here at Santa Clara. Again, the final, 94-86 over the Broncos. For my partner, Corey Williams, and our fantastic crew, Roxy Bernstein for the Bay Area. Let's go to SportsCenter.